Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about coming back to an instrument after oral surgery. Specifically wisdom teeth surgery because that's the most common one, but just kind of oral surgeries in general. For those of you who are looking at me like, why do you know about this or why should we listen to you? In 2007, I was diagnosed with a giant cell granuloma in my lower jaw. It's a benign but aggressive bone tumor, and it eats away the roots of your teeth. At the time, and as far as I know still, the main treatment for it is surgery. They basically just have to cut it out. I had the biopsy and then 2 surgeries on that over the course of the next year, and lost 6 teeth and a bunch of bone and a lot of that stuff. And then in 2011, I was diagnosed with a second tumor in my upper jaw. It was the same type of tumor, but a different strain. I was unrelated to the first one, and again went through the biopsy and surgery process. This time it was only 1 surgery, and between those 2, I've had my wisdom teeth out. So I do have a lot of experience with this, and a lot of experience getting back into flute after major trauma to my face. So a lot of this advice is obviously going to be for people who play wind instruments or singers, people who use their face to create their music, but some of it is also helpful for those of you who aren't winds players. It's about recovery and about treating your body the best way possible, and that's something that everyone can use. So, the first thing is do not push yourself. Dry socket especially is no fun, and pulling stitches is not worth it to get a couple extra days of practice, because it's honestly going to put you back even more. My rule of thumb with wisdom teeth is that if you have the dissolvable stitches, when they start falling out, you can probably start practicing a little bit. That's true for flute especially because there's very little back pressure. Those of you who play brass instruments have a lot more back pressure, and so it can put more tension on the suture sites and it can cause the wounds to reopen, and that's really, really not good. So take your time. I was back playing after about a week with my wisdom teeth surgery, but again, I had a lot of experience and I knew I healed really quickly because of my experience previous to that with my more major surgeries. And I also had experience building back up my practice schedule. My best advice is about a week and a half for those of you who play low impact instruments, and at least 2 weeks for those of you who play higher impact instruments. And listen to your body. Do not play with pain, and if something starts feeling tight or like it's pulling, do not continue. It is not worth it. Within that, as you're starting to build back your practice schedule, don't go full into what you used to do after your surgery. 1, you're out of practice and your chops are probably a little bit out of shape, and 2, you just had major trauma to your face. You can't do what you necessarily could do 2 months ago when you were at full capacity. I like doing 15-minute sessions, very, very low impact, very just like technique and basic things, long tones, like really build up your muscles and your strength and get back into playing in a healthy way. If you feel comfortable, you can do a couple 15-minute sessions throughout the day, but when you're like the first day back, definitely just do like 15-20 minutes and then be done with it. That is more than not playing at all, and honestly, doing it right is way more important than doing it quickly. As you get stronger and as you feel more comfortable, you can extend those sessions, you can add more throughout the day, and usually within about 2 weeks, you're back up to speed. That being said, as I said before, if you have any pain, do not continue playing. Just do not play with pain. That's true no matter what, but especially like post-surgery, do not play with pain. Just don't. One of the big things that helped me recover more quickly is ice. Ice is your friend. Everyone kind of knows with wisdom teeth surgery especially, you have like the typical chipmunk cheek look, and you can avoid that to an extent through proper use of ice. The first 24 hours are definitely the most important. I actually managed to keep my swelling down low enough when I had my wisdom teeth out that I went to a graduation party 2 days later. So really, if you are very, very vigilant with the ice, I liked doing 10 minutes on one side, 10 minutes on the other, like alternating almost consistently throughout the day, and that really helped keep my swelling down and also keep the pain down. it's not a fun thing. And it's major trauma, so your face and your body isn't going to react well. Another thing that you can do while you're recovering and you can't really play is listen and do score study. Do non-instrument based practice. When I had my major surgeries, I was out for 3 weeks at one point, and that was so rough on me because I love flute. I am obsessed with flute, and I'm obsessed with music, and any of you who've never met me in person know how true that is. And for me, having to take that long away from my instrument felt like torture. But I found that listening to things, fingering through things like without playing, and doing more mental practice helped me, one, keep my sanity, and two, come back stronger. Especially the second set of major surgeries, I was in undergrad and had to go back to school and do my juries and do all of this stuff. And while yes, the school was very aware of it and was willing to delay my juries and everything like that, I still felt like I wanted to come in and see if I could do it on time. And I was actually able to as well. And a lot of that was doing things away from the flute so that when I got back to the flute, I was more prepared. I listened to a ton of recordings, I did score study, as I said, fingered through pieces, I researched the music, I did so much stuff to kind of give myself background and give myself context and keep my mind in the music. I was also doing like papers and schoolwork at the time because I missed a month of school and had to go back to school at some point. And so keeping myself immersed in the music world was really important. I recommend highly scheduling these surgeries at a time where you don't have a lot of music to deal with, because then you actually don't have the pressure of, having to go back to school. A lot of people do it over winter break. I don't suggest that. If you can do it over the summer, which I know sucks because you're lying in bed when it's beautiful and you don't have school, but it still means that you have more time to recover, you have more time to come back, and you're not worried about ensemble auditions in January while you're like sitting in bed having your face hurt. It's not really worth it. It sometimes has to happen because of logistics and when you can get into the surgeon and insurance and all that jazz, and I'm aware of that. But if you have the option to do it over a longer break, like summer break, do that. And again, my biggest advice is do not push yourself. It is never worth it. And trust me, it is painful when you do. So yeah. If you guys have any specific questions about this, please let me know. I am as close to an expert as you can without actually having done like real research. I just have a life. And it's something that I really think is important to talk about because recovery for a musician is a little bit different than recovery for a non-musician, because they can just lie in bed and eat ice cream and we still have to practice somehow. So yeah. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you're new here, subscribe. If you want to support me more, check out my Patreon, and I will see you guys on Thursday.